All right, let's call to order this meeting of the Montara Water and Sanitary District Board of Directors. It's November 6th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Director Champion,
Present.
Director Young,
Present.
Director Boyd,
Here.
Director Slater Carter,
Here.
Director Softy.
Here. All right, so we're all here. First thing up on the agenda. Let's see. Okay, President's statement. I think I'm just going to take a moment to congratulate the community on a peaceful, joyous Halloween celebration that filtered throughout our community, and it was a delight to be out and about and see some of the creativity that people put into their homes, into their costumes, and I think I only saw people having fun, except for a few very weary parents pushing strollers, but it was a great event. And I appreciate the amplification. That's exactly the right point. Anyway, congratulations, well done. It's just a reminder of what an amazing community we live in, and the people who make it up. It doesn't happen all by itself. It takes a lot of people pitching in to make it what it is. Let's go to oral comments for items other than those on the agenda. I have a speaker slip. I see a hand, Greg Villegas. Let me go first to the speaker slip. We have Alan Moss. Alan, if you could come to the microphone, the one up here. This way everyone, yeah, this way people.
How much time do I have? A minute?
You can give you 3 minutes.
Okay. So I appear tonight to express my displeasure at the way I was treated yesterday when I came here pursuant to a Public Records Act request that I filed with Montara Water and Sanitary District dating back to May 22nd of this year. Subsequent to that, I filed 2 more. I was given a written notification by the general manager that he had 2 times available for me to come in and examine records that he couldn't put on a thumb drive. So I was given an hour yesterday. When I came here, there was on this table laid out somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 books that he called the daily logs, each one for a year. He said, "You have an hour." I said, "What do these refer to in my requests?" Will not answer that. I've been told not to talk to you by the attorney. I said, "What is your attorney's name?" He wouldn't even tell me his attorney's name. I said, "Have your attorney call me." The attorney has not called me. This is not the way I should be treated. It is not the way that a response should be provided under the Public Records Act of California, pursuant to that statute and the Constitution of this state. The policy is to be interpreted broadly, and that's the last thing that's happened here. The only thing I found out yesterday was to look in the log for this year and looked for the entry for the day when the district spilled 140,000 gallons of water, most of which hit my property. According to the daily log, there is no mention of the amount of gallons or what happened. There's just a little simple paragraph, which I can read to you. I took a picture of it. I asked for copies of that page and a couple other pages, the dates of which I got from one of the pages that was produced from a leak log. I asked for copies of those. I haven't gotten those copies yet. That's essentially what I think the general manager should be addressed. I was treated rudely. It upset me greatly. I mean, to an extreme extent. I have been litigating cases for over 40 years. I have never been treated like I was yesterday here in this room. Never. I've had gigantic disputes with the largest corporations in this country about discovery requests. I have never been treated the way I was yesterday.
We're coming up on 3 minutes.
That's about all I have to say. I think you members should do something about this. This is a serious matter. And all you're doing is engendering bad feelings, which will not be productive for anything or anyone or any one of you. Nobody wants that. We want a resolution. I don't want to be treated this way. I don't deserve to be treated this way.
Alan, I agree. I don't think they should
Excuse me.
stonewalling
Excuse me,
anybody.
you're out of order. You don't have the floor.
Okay,
We're in public comment.
Okay.
This is not a back and forth. We're hearing, listening. That's what we're doing. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Okay?
thank you.
Let's go to Greg Diegas.
Yeah, with the indulgence of the board, I'd like to cover 2 items briefly. One is a progress status update. The other is a new issue that's arisen just the other day. You're aware of the Red Alert Montara Moss Beach wildfire group. I just wanted to report, Caltrans has been doing some clearing. It's been minimal, underbrush mostly, and mostly around the properties they own and rent in the bypass. We have discovered that there is a deadline to get a waiver for wildfire mitigation under CEQA. It was part of Newsom's state of the emergency. The deadline to get those waivers is December of this year. Caltrans apparently, I talked to their communications director, thinks they don't need it. They have no final plan as yet for clearing the trees. We believe and have argued that they should get that waiver. We don't want any complications to arise. The process for filing it is very easy online, doesn't require a final plan, merely a statement of where the work's going to be done. Becker and Berman are aware through staff of what's going on. We subsequently, since the last time I spoke, have written and now met with members of the Coastside Fire Protection District. The California Coastal Commission has supported our request in writing that Caltrans should get a waiver. We've written Ray and discussed with him, and 2 things came out of that. He has agreed to put a resolution before the Board of Supervisors supporting the need for mitigation and the request for a waiver. We drafted a resolution. We're working with Ray's staff, and it's in agenda review. And Ray has previously agreed to coordinate with Berman and Becker, but I'm not aware of any meetings. Finally, Ray asked about the ownership of the land, and we suggested that we wanted to separate the issue of the transfer of ownership from the mitigation because there's complexity to preparing trail plans and stuff. We just want the mitigation done as soon as possible. And then the transfer of land, which I think is a valid goal, should come second. So that's the end of my update. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to address them. But there's a new issue that I just saw today. Several of the residents who helped us put the top back on Montara Mountain are reporting that PG&E apparently is building a road now and doing a lot of significant vegetation impact, a road to the top. This kind of thing has come up before. The people who reported it said they could see no evidence of a permit. They couldn't get anybody there to talk to them who knew what was going on, the biologists and so forth. So my question is, do you have any knowledge at the water district that PG&E is permitted to be doing this road construction? Does the district have any concern? And based on your answer, I'm going to write the planning department, the coastal commission, the state parks, and other people that we've dealt with in the past, because it appears this is going to be significant damage. Any knowledge? I would appreciate knowing about it.
There was a permit some years ago. I'm not sure if this is related, Greg. This has been a topic, I'm gonna say 3 years ago. So I would have to look into if this is actually now work that is in that context.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks for that update.
All right, let's go to Andrew Boston.
Thank you. I know the situation hasn't been easy. Sewer issues are complex and everyone wants to protect their community. So we're now entering the 6th week of a sewage leak on LeGrand. The district has directed SAM not to repair it, leaving sewage originally above ground and now seeping underground through sandy soil less than 20 feet above groundwater that flows towards the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. The record on the system is very clear. The Seal Cove area collection system was publicly financed and publicly constructed in 1985 to 1986 under the 1911 and 1915 Improvement Acts. The district issued assessment bonds, built the grinder pump stations, and installed the force mains connecting homes to the public system. Those acts require the district to operate and maintain the improvements it builds and bonds unless a later lawfully approved transfer occurs. If that responsibility had changed, there would be a paper trail, a board resolution, a CEQA review or exemption filing, a recorded title or easement change, and an updated SSMP, as well as a public notice to the assessed homeowners. None of these records exist. We've been asking for them for 7 months. In fact, the district's own 2014 SSMP, still on file with the State Water Board, states that MWSD will manage, operate, and maintain all parts of the wastewater collection system, including forced mains and appurtenances. I think I'm saying that right. There is no carve-out for grinder pumps or for Seal Cove. So what began as a maintenance issue has become a public health issue. I recognize that the board and management have dug their heels in on this, perhaps out of concern about cost or precedent, but the documents, the law, and simple fairness all point in one direction. And the sooner we acknowledge that, the sooner we can defending a position to solving a problem. I'm asking for a constructive path forward. Step one, coordinate with SAM and the County Environmental Health to stop the leak immediately. 2, notify nearby well users and test groundwater for contamination. I'm aware of at least 2 in the area. Produce or publicly confirm the absence of any documentation showing lawful privatization. And 4, reaffirm the district's maintenance responsibility for publicly financed infrastructure. Seal Cove residents aren't looking for a fight. We're looking for a fix. Let's keep water out of the ground, sewage out of the ocean, and fix this before the leak's old enough to vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Lana Witt, please.
I'm also seconding the statements by the first speaker and Andrew. The leak on LeGrand has continued. I think we're finishing our 6th week. It's on to the 7th week where we still have an active leak. Something needs to be done. And I've asked for guidance from this group since you have the technical expertise and the equipment to fix our sewer problems, and you have not responded. I want to reiterate that you all read your mission, vision, and value statement. I think you need to place it right in front of you on your desk. What is your mission? What is your vision? Your mission includes wastewater management. Your values include transparency and trustworthiness with the community. I have asked for data about which homes are excluded. This is going on its 3rd week. And where's the discussion notes as to your decision to exclude certain homes? We don't know, certain homes, all homes at Seal Cove. Where's your discussion notes as to the scientific or technical or financial basis for excluding certain homes? So I need to know, do I need to request again what I've asked for? When do you answer a person when they ask for data? Do you tell me that you're not going to answer me? Or are you going to give me a date? Maybe I can come in and go through your binders also. So as the public, as the first speaker said, we need to know whether you're going to answer us or not. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay, I see no more hands for speakers. Sid, I'm gonna agree to this, but I'm concerned.
I have some stuff to say, but
Okay,
I won't say it about Seal Cove if you don't want, but I'm pretty upset that you're stonewalling my neighbors. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You're the board. I'm not
We're-
involved in that. No, as far as that goes. I was just gonna say that, this week on Nextdoor, there was a lot of discussion, and I know you were part of it, about property taxes, so I contacted the, controller's office just to let people know or get the details on our school bonds and also the MWSD bonds. So, the sanitary bond that we've been paying on is not gonna be paid off until August 28th, 2028. And that's coming up, but it's not yet. And then our other bond that's on the sewer tax bill, which is called the it's not called a bond, it's just called the Montara Sandy District. That one is a combined rate of, includes the water reliability charge, and I found out that that is not something you can contact the assessor's office, I mean, the controller's office to get a sorry, I forgot the name of it. This is what's happening when I get old. The breakdown on, and but water reliability charge is one of the items. The other item is your sewer charge for the entire year, which is broken down based on your water usage in the wet weather months from the prior year. So the water reliability charge is a flat rate, and my meter is a 5/8 inch meter, and that's what a lot of the single family homes are in our district. You might have a larger meter, but the 5/8 inch, the flat rate this year is $684.20. So whatever you have billed on your tax bill, subtract that amount, and that's what your sewer charges for all of last year during the wet weather months is how it's calculated based on your water usage. So, and just so people know, the Cabrillo Unified School District bonds, we're paying for 10 series, measure S from 2012, measure M from 2018, and measure K, which just started last year in 2024. The newest one was $150 million. Measure M was $99 million and Measure S was $81 million. There's still 3 active on Measure S, 3 active on Measure M. Neither one of those will be paid off until 2048. I'll be dead because I was born in 1951. And the newest one will possibly be paid off in 2029, but there may still be further tranches that they take out, or they could refund it and extend the period of time when it's still due. And then there's 9 series for the San Mateo Community College District bonds, and those are going to be paid off in 2045. So that's why a lot of people are complaining that their property taxes went up this year. There's other little charges there, but those are the big ones. Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
Those are not taxes, those are,
Well, they're on the property tax bill.
but they are bonds. And other
Just saying,
forms.
people are complaining.
I think people, I've been part of that conversation, and people don't know where to find information. I do want to point out that under rates and finance on our website, there's a page called Charges on the Property Tax Bill that goes into this in some detail, and it's got a visual, so.
Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to mention. On our new, I guess it's a revised, it looks like it's been revised on our new website. And I tried to find it, but I couldn't find where we put that our newsletter doesn't show up like it used to. And I didn't get my newest bill yet that shows our newsletter inserted, but they didn't say in time for the quarterly recycle pickup. So I put it out on Nextdoor, but kind of at the last minute. And I think we should put it on the splash page of our what do you call it, website, when it's coming up, not after the fact. And I couldn't find it. So maybe, who does our website?
Well, take it all to the district manager.
District manager,
Yeah.
do you do our website?
That's not the answer. The answer is when we have things for the website, we take it all to Clemens.
Okay, and then the other thing is, somebody was asking me about the upcoming directors and what do we have as far as who's gonna be elected next? And I said, well, there's 3 directors at large right now. And when I looked on our elections page, it doesn't say which districts are the ones that have to be elected. And I told the person I was talking to that I knew that Moss Beach Heights does not have a director right now, but she asked me, well, what division is that? And I said, I honestly can't tell you. And I couldn't remember from top of my head, but it doesn't say it on our website either. So if somebody could change that, it would be helpful to say what are the 3 divisions and which directors are what division.
Let's,
Okay,
there is a page, it's the Board of Directors page under Board and Agendas, and it lists the districts for 2. It should probably list the district for Director Champion.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you.
May I add one thing?
Sure.
I have asked Clemens to put a permanent link to Recology. So people can get the most up-to-date information and just click over. I've told a couple people, Clemens, that I made that request and everybody is very happy.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move now to the consent agenda. We have approving minutes, the financial statements, the warrants, the flow report, the monthly review of current investment portfolio, the connection permit applications received, the monthly water production report, the rain report, the monthly solar energy report, and the monthly public agency retirement service report for August 2025. Do any board members wish to pull anything for discussion? Not seeing any. Can I have a motion?
We adopt the consent agenda.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Catherine and Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 5-0. No old business tonight. New business. Item 1, review and possible action concerning receipt of fiscal year 2024-25 audit.
Thank you very much. So this is a standard item. We went through the audit and I am very pleased that we are receiving the audit this year early. The deadline is usually in December, but it has all worked out thanks to Peter, who's taken the lead here for us and our staff, particularly Tracy, who've been doing all the work for preparing this. Our auditor is tonight unfortunately not available to present the audit. This is a document that we are simply receiving, so I've asked Peter to highlight what the deviations are from the norm. I have to say it's a very clean audit, so that's why we're also not concerned. It's an extremely clean audit. There are some slight kinks in it, I'm just gonna say, that skew the numbers, and Peter is ready to talk about this and highlight them and take any questions. Peter.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, unfortunately, our auditor could not be here tonight. It's been a number of years since I've led the audit report receipt, but able to do so. If you will allow, I will share my screen. I'm not going to go into it in depth. As you guys know, after we receive the audit, typically a month later, I prepare the budget versus actual as compared to the audit. Just because it's a format that we're all kind of used to, and it goes into more detail. And I think that's it allows for a good back and forth, because if you guys are more comfortable with the roll-ups for all these various items. So hold on, I'm gonna share my screen. But I'm gonna just kind of talk to you about really what the audit process is and kind of how it works. Not as you guys know how it works, but in terms of the big thing here, so here's our audit report, our first page. So these are our numbers. The big thing that I want to say, these are our numbers. The auditors do not prepare our books for us. They do not keep our books for us. They do not help us with our accounting. Their job is to come in and on a test basis, go through our trial balance as of the end of the year, so the fiscal year end 6/30, we closed the books as of that date on a full accrual basis, and then we provided what's known as a trial balance to our auditors. They then go through, review all the various accounts that we have in our GL system, and they produce audit procedures for which they're going to start testing balances. It's a two-part process. They come in during the early part of the year, during the fiscal year, and they test to see if our controls, as we have them documented, we're actually following them, and they gain some comfort that, okay, yes, we are following our procedures. And then at the end of the year, after we've done our close, it typically happens in about, I guess, middle of September, October timeframe. They come in, and that's when they really start testing the balances, because I said they really go from the balance sheet. So before I go too far into this, kind of want to say as far as that the overarching piece here is that these are our numbers. These are not the auditor's numbers. We are responsible for these balances. And so really when I say that, here's what I want to bring you to is basically this audit report. This is what we pay our fee for. I'm going to make it bigger. If you guys get some time, really read through this. This is really they lay out what their job is, what our job is, and how they perform it. It very I I don't know, maybe I'm a dork, but I read these. I said this is the part that always very interesting to me, because it changes each year. Because I when I first started my career, there were you see a lot of audit from, smaller agencies. Basically, the auditor would go in there and close the books for them. They wouldn't be able to do this on their own, so the auditor would go in there and really what came out of that's wrong. As far as you can't audit something if you prepare it. So that's really kind of they come in here, and if they start seeing a bunch of journal entries as far as different areas of the balance sheet not being closed, it's an issue. So like I said, that's our responsibility. So we keep the books all year round in anticipation for this to take place. And then they go in there, they test the balances. So I'm gonna go to just a kind of a couple our financial statements. So going down. So our MD&A, and I have a quick little sheet that I'm gonna show you. So our balance sheet as and liabilities. And so this is they test from the balance sheet approach as far as they want to make sure that these balances are all accurate. And so they'll perform a number of tests. They'll confirm bank balances. They will test all of our county receipts, just to make sure that these numbers, as we have them laid out, are accurate. So that's what their job is. And so, like as Clement said, we are very proud that we are probably a month ahead of our typical schedule, because they are very comfortable with our documentation, our procedures, and our ability to turn around their requests very quickly. And that is 100% due to our staff. So Tracy and Sonia and all the gals that are up front, they do an excellent job, and a lot of it, really most of it is on their shoulders, and they're amazing. So won't get into this. You got these are the statements that they are providing an opinion over. And then further on, we have our footnotes, which basically tie back and give some more information on these various balances, certain balances. As I said, I will prepare next month the budget versus actual, which is going to be kind of in our budgetary view that we're all comfortable with, that will show items in more detail, because so our statement of activities, it's a one pager. And that when we budget, we have, I want to say it's 5 pages of very small type for all the various accounts that we have. That's important for us to be able to budget and account in that manner. But when we come to our financials, it's 1 page. So water, sewer, hey guys, all know this, but I said, I'm not going to really go into this because I created a quick little kind of I call it a dashboard, but a little summary sheet that's more from our, I don't know, easier to digest. But like I said, going through here, so big changes. The one thing that that we'll have from the sewer side was we collected FEMA and Cal LES grants. They skew our numbers a little bit, but that was a practice that we decided upon and we discussed it as far as we're going to gross up. We're not going to net anything out. We're not going to show the revenue and then net it out with the receipt back to Sam. We basically grossed up both sides of it. So, but because of that, though, it distorts our revenues and our expenditures. So I said that's really the big piece that we'll see here as far as this grant revenue here. Last year, so there was much more last year than it was this year, but that's the big piece here. Outside of that, just kind of quickly as far as changes from 2025 to 2024. The other piece that I want to talk about here was the lease receivable. This is the big one, $350,000 of lease receivable on the books. This is a recent GASB, which basically says for any lease agreements that we have, that's as us being the lessor or the lessee, we have to recognize the future value of that for the entire duration of the lease. And for us, we have a new one with Verizon over 10 years. So we have to actually recognize it and we amortize it each year as we receive those receipts from Crown Castle and Verizon. So that's the big piece for the sewers fund. As we roll on to water, kind of the other pieces that I want to bring our attention to. Operating revenue looks like a very large dip. Really what that represented was our Dow chemical suit that was paid last year. That did not repeat, but is captured as operating revenue because it was captured as other revenue last year. But other operating revenue was the categorization of it. Tax revenues, this also includes our GO bond, which goes through the property taxes. They said that's almost paid off. I'm saying we're 2 more years away from having that fully paid off. Pretty neat. The other piece here would have their item number E. Yes, water reliability charges. This is where this item is captured in here. So that's those big pieces, but the one big thing I guess we want to say, kind of what we always want to focus on as far as how we performed. If we go to our statement of activities, but we get caught up here as far as operating. We show an operating loss for both funds, 140,000 and 1.4. What I would say is that don't get caught up here, roll down, because our non-operating pieces are revenue streams that we have that are recurring. This is big part being taxes and our water reliability charges. Okay, so really what you want to look at here is our change in net position. This is really what would be the overall, what you refer to as net income, if you will. So $3.4 million, 1.7 per fund. Operationally, why I said the one piece that skews it here is our depreciation factor. And I said if that was not in there. So this is just the annual amount of expense that we capture for projects that have been completed for a number of years. We do not take the expense fully in the current year, which we have the expense. It goes out over a period of time, 25 to 50 years. So with that, don't want to bore you guys to tears anymore. But if you have any specific questions on the audit, please let me know and I can try to answer them the best I can.
I do, Peter.
Yes, Sid. Yeah, I can't see you.
Okay, Sid?
Sorry, I had asked Clemens to see if you could produce, and I think I've asked you in years past on like a pie chart, so people in the public could just see where our general expenses are and the kind of general expenses that might be, relative to people in the public would be like, how much do we spend on legal fees for like our Sam lawsuit, salary and benefits, other major items that we normally occur each year. Hopefully we won't have the lawsuit legal fees much longer. And also, just we have a new board member. She might not know all the different things that we spend our money on every year. Do you have a pie chart like that you could show us breaking down like our general expenses and income and outgo? Because all these, first of all, on Zoom, it's covered up with part of the Zoom. We can't see the last column on the screen. And I just wondered if you had such a pie chart.
No.
Can you make one for our next meeting?
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Thank you. But the our for, when I think of our audit, like I said, these are our numbers, but this is the value of it is not in these financials that are currently presented. It's in this opinion here saying that on a test basis, our financial statements are not materially misstated. That's what
Right.
the discussion of financials, we do that on a monthly basis. You guys see the financial reports in the consent agenda as far as those items that are presented for on a monthly basis. On an annual basis, yes, we have a couple of times, but to your point though, pie charts, yes, I've talked to the directors. I can see the value of them, and yes, I can create them for the presentation next month where we will talk about budget versus actual as compared to the audit, and how we performed to our adopted budget for fiscal year 24-25. That
Good.
part of it can be seen as far as utilizing the budget categories that we have for our budget in a pie chart. That's not an issue.
Just to see where we're overall, where we're spending our money, and you know, if we have some deficits, where our deficits lay, and you know, where we're going in the future.
Well,
Thank you.
their pie charts are not going to tell us that.
Well, no, but we could see if we need to steer somewhere in the future. That's what we could look, because I know we've had capital expenditures, like this building, for instance, it needs to be repaired. We've done a little bit to it, that kind of thing. We have the Seal Cove issue, you know, we've had the pipeline issue that hasn't been repaired yet, but that's a SAM issue, but still, we have to pay for it, that kind of thing.
Clemens?
Yeah, I just want to point out that the audit is in a very specific government approved format, and that cannot be changed. So we're receiving today a document that has to look exactly like this.
Sure.
So we're the only agency on the coast side that provides multiple financial updates throughout the year, meaning a year end. We're producing 6 months, and we're going through the budget process. We also have a link on our website to opengov.com, and that's under finances, easily to find. And you essentially can create all charts and bar graphs you want with all the numbers that are plugged in from our budget in there anytime.
And it's easy.
Just while I'm talking about the website, just throw this out, the newsletter is in the center of the homepage. Very prominent to find. We have, of course, link to the ecology site under solid waste services. Yeah, so it's all there.
Okay, I missed it then.
Okay.
So I was looking for it earlier. It's on the homepage that you said,
It is
on the
on
splash
the
page when you first log in.
homepage. Yes.
Okay. Because I saw it says October, November newsletter, and I tried to click on it and no newsletter came up. It just says a link and it didn't pull up a newsletter for me. Oh, there it is now. Okay. Maybe it was before he fiddled with my computer.
Okay,
Who knows? Thank you.
all right. Well, thank you, Peter. Do we have any other questions from board members? No? Okay, let's go on to the next agenda item. And this is review and possible action concerning revised policy regarding acquisition and use of electronic readers.
So,
Wait,
I think
we have to adopt with the
I might
receipt.
have to recuse myself for this part of the meeting.
Christine, you,
Yes, I think Director Champion's familiar with the item and has chosen to recuse herself because she does have a financial
Okay.
interest in the deliberation vote. Thank you,
Okay, all
Director Champion.
well, thank you. And
Okay.
coming back in, but go ahead and you present that.
Thank you. So we've, so. Let's wait until the bill's closed so we don't have to do worse. Thank you.
see it at all.
So our directors are required to have an electronic reader. The purpose is that this saves a huge amount of copy cost. Otherwise, we would have to provide hard copies. And calculating that out, it is much cheaper actually to provide these documents in electronic form. So the district switched to exclusive document sharing in electronic version some time ago. And so we've actually increased the allowance for the electronic reader purchase that every board director is required to make at the beginning of their tenure. From I think that was around 1,500 to 2,500 in the early COVID times. I believe it was around 21. Since then, I think I've seen a number of increases to the laptop or other device costs. And so first of all, we thought that this would be a good time to bring this to the board and see if they would be interested in increasing this amount for anyone that's coming on. The requirement also says that actually a servicing policy has to be purchased with these devices. And this is essentially, they have to keep the computer up and running for 4 years at a minimum. Director Champion actually ran into the situation that the cost for her device slightly exceeded the $2,500. So that was one of the trigger points where we saw that it is actually possible to spend that amount. And we thought, well, if we want to address it, then maybe now, and also ask for the potential reimbursement of the excess cost. Are there any questions I can answer?
Bill?
Yes, what were the numbers? You said essentially it saves money, but I don't know how many pages were involved and how much money is saved. So that's one of two numbers I'd like to compare.
So, I mean, we have to go back to the implementation of the policy, but if we are printing out the board packets, which oftentimes are several hundred pages, one copy is rather expensive. So it was a very simple math that within a couple of months or 3-4 months, the cost savings are significant.
Yes, as the one person who insists on printed copies. I know that they are more expensive. I was wondering how, I want to do in my head what the cost, extra cost is of paper, and then also what is the cost in reading electronic? Because we know that paper has a 400% improvement in comprehension over electronic. So by moving to electronic, we're essentially cutting our comprehension by 3/4. And so we need to somehow make a balance of how much learning we're doing and how well we understand the material versus how much we're paying for it. And as long as those two numbers balance, it makes sense, but I need to know what the numbers are.
Sure, we probably can provide this number, but I'm gonna insist that we also include the staff time that is required to produce these, and that was not even considered in the original computation, and you'll see that this is a significant amount.
Oh, yeah, sure. And I would assume it would be divided because most of this is stuff which is like old business and so on. So a lot of it isn't actually going to be read. But since when people read on paper, they understand it much better, or they can mark on it, they can carry it and so forth. It's almost certain that some of the things should be printed out, and I just want to know how we do the balance of where we're saving money and make sure we don't impede our ability to govern.
Board policy is not to print anything. That's it.
All right, and
Can I say-
but I'm asking, my continued question is, what are the numbers by which that policy was? My business has been calculating approximate numbers for things like that. And my wife and I wrote a big fat paper doing all that kind of thing for all kinds of information flow that humans use. So I know they exist. And if they haven't been done, I'd like to offer to help do them. Because I can't possibly vote for something where I don't even know what I'm voting for.
Okay, well, you don't have to vote on it if you don't want to. I'm gonna pitch in with a few comments. One, this is a board policy that was established many years ago.
Okay.
We considered many of the costs, including staff time. It penciled out quite clearly. There has been, by and large, with one exception, an acceptance of this as a means of providing communication. I'll observe too that the notion that things are in the packet and not read is one person's opinion on it. But I looked through a whole bunch of the pages tonight. And, you know, I don't need the paper to do that. In fact, one thing I can't do with the papers is, excuse me, I have the floor, I'm speaking.
Yeah.
One thing I cannot do with the paper is the searching that I do,
Mhm.
looking for key phrases or
Mhm.
certain things. So it's a longstanding board policy. If you want to examine how we arrived at that, you may be able to find the minutes from the meetings where we discussed it. There were some numbers at the time. We found it compelling. It passed unanimously, as I recall, at the time. It's been the board policy for many years. We're not actually tonight entertaining changing the policy.
Okay.
We're looking at two questions.
Mhm.
One is, do we reimburse for
Yes.
the small overage? And the other is, do we alter the budget for any given item? Those are what's in front of us
Okay,
tonight.
so the question I asked about the trade-off, so yes, we save money, but we lost something in comprehension. That was not calculated. The loss of comprehension was not part of the trade-off calculation, as I hear it. So it won't be useful for me to look in the past if that wasn't there. I'm interested in that number.
Well, you're presuming a lot of things about board meetings you didn't attend or read the minutes of.
okay. I know
No,
the 400%.
don't tell me what I had in my mind when I voted in support of that policy, because that's what I just heard you do.
I
Bill,
was asking many times
excuse
if there
me.
was a calculation, and I have not heard that there was.
Excuse me, Bill. Interruptions when someone else is speaking and has the floor are not okay. And we're gonna try to do a little better job of that. And I'm gonna be speaking up about that a little bit more. I remember some of the things I was concerned about. One of the key elements was, does this provide, does it pass the threshold of what I need in order to be able to consume the material and be ready for a meeting? And also to reference it during a meeting. So the assertion that those considerations weren't taken into account, maybe nobody reduced that to a dollar amount, but I don't think that reduces to a dollar amount. Nor did it maybe reduce to some form of symbolic mathematical representation, but a lot of what we do comes down to, do 5 people around the board table approve or not approve? It's been asked and answered. So the policy question about, do we have readers and do we do things electronically, is set and has been for a very long time. Tonight, it's 2 questions, and I want to direct the conversation to that. Let's go to Sid.
I was just gonna say that I can save a PDF in a file. So like if I want to save something to, when I was doing the award thing for the CSDA, I saved it into a folder. On my laptop, I didn't have to print it. And you can just save one of your board agendas into a folder. You don't have to print it. But I have a printer at home, and I often printed things when I was in real estate, and the board, I had a full color laser printer, and the ink cartridges, or shall I say toner cartridges, were about, let's see, $100 a piece, and they came in packages of 4. So I was out $400 every time I went down to Office Depot to buy them, plus the paper. So if I want to, I can print out a document from my agenda if it looks meaty enough that I want to read it in a paper format. But you can always come to the board meeting and get that book from the lobby and read it that way if you really want to. If you have to have a paper copy to read and comprehend it, that's all I'm saying, if you don't like reading it off of a screen. So they do print one here for the public.
So, Catherine, did you have anything to add?
I have something to add, and then I'll make a motion to adopt the
Okay.
policy, or the resolution. I think we can accommodate people who can only read paper. Some who do better with paper, some who do better with screens, and some of us like me are
Documentary.
documentary, thank you. And so I think this is a very good policy that we can accommodate everyone. And I think it's is for the public. We do have a printed copy here in the lobby, and as soon as the agenda is released, we have a printed copy here. So people can see it, or they can get it on our website and with the parts that are relevant to them. So I move that we adopt.
I would still have.
Excuse me. You don't have the floor. This is precisely what I'm talking about. So let's just,
I move that we adopt, I'm looking to see if it's a resolution or. What we're on to. I move that we adopt the resolution next in order of the Montara Water and Sanitary District. Approving and adopting the revised policy regarding acquisition and use of electronic readers. And I also move. Approval of reimbursement to Director Champion for full cost of the electronic reader device in accordance with the revised policy reimbursement about. Do we have a second?
I haven't read the whole thing because I was having trouble with this today.
yeah.
But,
I was,
so you're waiting for me to give
Well,
it
I'm
back?
hoping you'll second.
I thought I would. take
The,
chance
the,
to-
there is a excuse me, no one else has the floor. I do. I'll be happy to hand the floor to you in. due
That's why you
course.
were looking at me for a second. One.
Well, I was wondering if you would. If you want a quick view, there's a red letter, there's a
Red line.
red line
Oh.
version at the very end, so it's just very minimal changes. It hasn't been seconded yet. I wanted to pitch in my comments on this.
Go ahead.
I'm all for the approval of the reimbursement, no problem. I did go out and do a survey of given the characteristics of what we require in a reader, what's a good street price for that. I came up with 9 different possible ways, different manufacturers, different form factors, including the right amount of memory, the keyboard, and the 2-year support plan. And the highest number I came out with was about $1,600. And so I'm not in favor of taking the number up. I'm okay leaving it where it is, but I'm not okay increasing it any further. Right now, the limit is 2,500. The proposal is 3,000. But since there's just a range of things, Microsoft Slate or laptops or Chromebooks or other, there's just a world of things out there. So I think we're okay on the money. I think in this one case, it's fine, but I think with a little bit of work, we can help people fit it in a budget that we leave it at 2,500. The next time it comes up, I'm sure that'll be ample.
Okay, I didn't finish reading this, but
I think Bill was next.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm
Go ahead.
looking, Bill.
Yeah, this will probably be the first time I vote against you guys, but I've spent the last 15 years of my life on a very principled quest to let people understand the deep damage that electronic communication does to interpersonal communication, to cognition, the nervous system, all kinds of things. It's a solid case, it's utterly undisputed, but most people don't know. So as a matter of principle, I really can't vote for more electronic communication until we've done the numbers on what we're losing. We've done the numbers on what we're gaining, but not what we're losing. So that's going to be my policy for probably a long time.
So Sid, what I'm proposing is that we do not adopt the resolution. Therefore, reading it
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. The gist of what the resolution does is change the number from 2,500 to 3,000.
I wanted to just ask my question and
Okay.
then I'm
Yeah.
clear in my head.
Yeah.
I thought when I bought mine,
Hmm.
well, Clemens bought it at Best Buy, that I had to maintain the service agreement on it, but it was gonna be mine after 2 years. But I think I'm reading in here that it says it's still MWSD property and becomes surplus property. Is that what I'm reading?
I read the same thing and I had the same question.
It's my understanding that. I'm gonna hand it over to Christine, but it's my understanding that ultimately that means that after 2 years. Yes, it's still MWSD property, right, for the purpose of, for example, discovery, et cetera, right? So you're supposed to continue to use it as exactly such computer.
Right.
But it ultimately can be declared surplus. So for example, if you would now leave the district, you would be able to take the computer with you.
Who would have to buy it from you as a surplus item, like an old
2
truck?
years, no,
No,
that's, and
He just said no.
okay.
that is my understanding.
It doesn't really say that here, so that's why I was just asking. I'm not sure what I'm voting on, but since we're not voting, right?
If we're not touching the resolution, then it just stays as it currently is.
Okay.
And then that interpretation, those specifics, the surplus policy is a whole policy unto itself, which is very detailed. So,
Yeah,
but I think the clear intention here is get it for a board member, keep it for a while. After a while, it no longer has material value to the district. So when, okay, so.
Phil, I believe that you're taking an all or nothing approach, and for those of us. Who have other abilities, I think that this is a good policy. As far as the amount of money, I would expect that even though we have a cap. A board member can always spend as little as what it takes to meet their needs. With a cap of 3,000. And so I'm comfortable with the cap because I don't think we're going to have people spending, and it's over a 4-year term. So I think we should just go with what staff is recommending. And then we don't have to revisit this for a while. And I'm glad I've got the repair or maintenance on this because my MWSD machine has quit and I've got to take it into whatever. And I'm thinking about buying myself just a hard drive to store everything from MWSD on. In addition to having the computer, that way I don't have to mix it on a cloud with my own stuff. But that will be out of my own pocket too. But I think what staff has done is an excellent job, and I think we should update the policy.
Well, the key update is about the amount.
Right.
And the current $2,500 budget is ample to get a really nice machine. The kind of things that I'm looking at in the $1,500 and $1,600 price range are very nice, but there's room to go more storage faster if you need it. 2,500, there's plenty of room to do that. The price of power per dollar in the computer has really come down or increased. The value is mind blowing. So I don't see the need to make the number bigger. It's a smallish thing, but I'd just rather not do it myself.
I do have a question since mine's starting to fail a little bit, but I've had it 2.5, 3 years, something like that. What happens if we do need a new computer at a certain point? Is there an upgrade potential on this plan or not?
After 4 years.
After 4 years?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, but this is part of why the service policy is required.
I know,
So
but
the
I'm
district
saying,
doesn't have to
I
buy
don't
it.
think it covers peripherals. I've already gone through 2 keyboards and about 4 power cords.
That's
Okay.
That's fucked up, but, and also, sorry.
Please.
Sorry,
Oh.
also, it doesn't cover the annual Microsoft software, so they eventually won't, they don't upgrade to a certain point. My old Microsoft tablet PC, they're not upgrading Windows 10 anymore, so that's it. That's why I was asking.
But the
This one still will.
service package that's required when when authorizing the purchase of one of these
Yeah.
is to make sure that that doesn't become a problem.
Yeah.
That's in the policy now.
Okay, I don't know what was in the policy when we got it, so,
That was it.
That is the policy. This policy has been around for many years.
okay, so I'll look at it again and see if I go up to Best Buy, what they're saying about the service.
Okay,
the
so
Windows thing.
let's get back to the matter at hand.
Right, and this for a later agenda, maybe Clemens, but we should talk about things like peripherals. I've always just bought all my own peripherals. I figured that was my responsibility since I had a computer. But I have noticed that Microsoft wants to charge me for various things. I've
Yeah.
gotten around it.
Hmm.
Sort of, kind of, maybe by ignoring it. But it does become a problem because that's the way apparently the online world is coming is they keep wanting you to upgrade your software. And after a while, it doesn't work quite as well as it did. Now, is that something that we can bring? So that's, it is a future agenda item, is to talk about how we deal with these operator, or not operator, but
Operating
provider.
systems, yeah.
Extra charges.
So we didn't get a second on your motions.
No, we
We
didn't.
need another motion and
So was there a motion for the 25?
we have no motion on the table right now.
Okay, see,
Well, I didn't.
Well, we have a motion which dies for a lack of a second. So
I
now,
didn't, I just wasn't sure. You don't want us to move for hers?
no.
Oh.
I want to cover the amount for Director Champion.
Okay.
And I believe that the 2,500 is ample to buy whatever's needed for the purposes that we have for.
So this was for 3,000, not 2,500?
The 2,500 is the current
Okay,
policy.
I'll vote for that.
Okay.
I'll
but-
second that, I mean.
There is no.
No,
motion.
there's no motion on the
Okay.
table. Okay, let's back up.
Yeah.
No motion on the table. What Catherine proposed was modifying to the 3,000 limit
I see.
and covering the amount for Director Champion. That motion died for lack of a second. We have no motion. I'm indicating. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you indicated in the straw poll, but no, you did. You made the motion that you were interested in both parts. I'm interested only in the reimbursement part. And then let's see what you're interested
I
in.
would rather do hers, just because I know how it is when you're new, you have to invest in it and then it should last 4 years. So if she needs to get all her peripherals and everything, $3,000 sounds like a 4-year project to me. That's all.
Council Christine Fitzgerald.
Thank you, President Boyd. I just want to suggest maybe having two separate motions, one for the reimbursement, and then the second one either to adopt or not adopt the resolution amending the policy. Just so that we're clear procedurally and for the minutes.
Yeah. Well, right now we have 0 on the table, so let's see if we get 1.
I'll second whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. At this point, I didn't read it.
Well,
very
I'm not
carefully.
quite sure I know how to do this right, but I would move that we reimburse Leah. Separately as one thing. I will move that because if she
Okay,
paid
what
for
was
it.
her
she
dollar
should be
amount?
I'll
reimbursed.
second that.
Great. Vote?
We had a question about the dollar amount on that.
Yeah, what was the dollar amount?
It's not much. I can't tell you, but it's about $100.
Over you.
3,100.
No.
2,600, I guess.
The
You should pay
current
the
limit is 2,500.
Oh, okay,
She was.
$150,
so it was 2,600?
yes, in the $2,600 range.
I'll vote for that.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of reimbursing Director Champion for the amount which is in the range of $100, say aye.
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 Let's make it $100 over the minimum,
Yeah.
please.
There's a specific amount that we're being asked to reimburse, and it's for the purchase that has already been made,
Right, but I'm saying, when you say about $100,
which staff has indicated is about $100.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so by motion, by a vote of 4 to, and there's no votes, right? Okay, so by 4-0, the motion to reimburse passes.
Let's make her whole, that's what I want to do.
Okay. I'm content that 2,500 is ample to satisfy this need. But I'm one of 5 votes here, so.
Four. Oh, no, Leah can come back in now.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, actually, I believe Director Champion decision, correct me if I'm wrong, I know Clemens had a discussion with her today, it's recusing herself from both actions out of
Okay.
abundance of caution, because you could make the argument that in her deliberating and voting on an increase in the amount of the policy could benefit her just because she has, already purchased an item. So I
Okay.
believe she's recused herself from both items,
Okay,
but maybe we can.
That is my understanding as well.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank
Well,
you.
let's.
well, are we gonna go back and look at this policy later, or should we just go with the 3,000 for going forward? Is that what we're talking about, or do we want to
It's-
rewrite the policy
it-
for,
Going to be a 2-2, but
why is that, because Bill doesn't want to, or,
and Scott doesn't want to go over 2,500.
oh, okay. Well, let's postpone it.
I mean,
to
let's
when-
straw poll it, I'm gonna vote no if
I'm gonna vote no.
if it's to go up, so,
Table it.
we can,
It keeps the policy.
well,
the same.
we can take no action on the staff recommendation and move on.
Yeah, I'd like to see it reworded anyway, because it's a little bit vague on some of the other.
Well, maybe we can, the question of peripherals and some of the online annual licensing
And the
stuff.
part about
We might wanna just
the 4 years,
let's
who's it
talk about,
belongs to,
excuse me,
sorry.
let's take this offline, perhaps we can, bring something back.
Yeah, I'll talk to IT storage.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right.
So I think
Let's
now Leah
bring in,
come back into the boardroom, if you can hear us, Leah.
she's on her way. The next item up is, hopefully much happier news. Review and action concerning receipt of funding for FEMA declared disasters on behalf of the Sewer Authority Mid-Coast funds.
Yeah, thank you. I want also to Peter to share the detail because he's helping out here on both the sewer authority, the coast side as well as the MWSD side. Ultimately, we applied for a for a grant so for the sewer authority, the coast side, that is so we were successful with that, and so we're receiving the funds and we're handing them over to the sewer Sam. Peter, I missed a lot. Just
No, you didn't. I mean, I said, I think I want to say this is the 5th or 6th time that we brought this. So it's the same agenda item. We just update the amounts. $8,000 received this past month. In October, yes. Don't quite. So the worksheet that I'm working off of shows that the bulk of those projects have been reimbursed, but I know that they're working on another piece with FEMA and Cal OES, and so it's kind of branched off into another direction for I believe it's the movement of the the electrical room. I believe there's plans to move that, and so they're receiving some grant funding toward toward those ends. And so that's kind of what we're seeing kind of come in now, sort of those beginnings of the planning. So hopefully we'll get some more in. I said I've given up trying to figure out the timing of this, but it comes in, and when it does, we're all grateful. But yeah, the SAM staff and SRT are working diligently to continue to get funding in for these projects.
All right, do we have any questions and comments? All right.
No.
All right, well, thank you for handling it. It's great that we can be in a position to have made the application and then serve as a recipient. This is a great example of this doesn't cost us a lot to work together. So, yes.
Over Halloween, I started telling that this will relate. But my neighbors have a little 1.5-year-old daughter, and they brought their daughter out for Halloween, and she was giving candy to all the neighbors instead of going to them. And I said, oh, that's the Montara. And your comments about Halloween, it very much is the Montara way. And this is also the Montara way. It's looking for the future, and it's looking to benefit all of our partners. And so this is a fine example of Montara Water and Sanitary operating in the Montara Moss Beach way.
All right. Well, thank you. Let's move on then to reports. Sewer Authority made COSI.
The meeting for Monday is closed, is
Canceled.
canceled.
Yep.
And I didn't get to look at the last agenda.
The prior meeting was a report. We heard from the firm doing the design work for the relocation of the electrical building. It was a very good report. If you'd like to know more, I would recommend the video. I would hate to try to summarize it other than several options were explored, including one or two that have been raised by board members at a meeting months ago when we kicked off that work. Each of the options was explored, pros and cons and cost estimates, rough cost estimates, but engineering numbers that looked reasonably sound. And the SAM board selected the option which we all suspected we would wind up with, but it was to relocate to an elevated position across the driveway from the office building. And then with some interaction, they're going to take a look at some numbers about water levels and probability and see about raising the footing to give us a little more margin and safety in the extreme flooding situations. So this is great. We've known for a while this is a pretty significant risk, and I appreciate SAM staff and member agencies supporting getting in there and doing the work that's going to lead to getting us a measure of safety for an event that is all too predictable. The flooding that we had was not good, but it could pretty realistically be worse. So getting on with this is going to be really important. And it's not just important to keep the plant going, but it's also important for the safety of our people who are working at the plant and their ability to go in and do things during emergency situations. We don't want them to have to run the additional risks that will present. So
And the old building is going to be maintained and used for other electrical stuff that they can raise up, so it's the water.
Yep.
Intrusion, expected high water intrusion.
there were some, I mean, I was really glad that some folks had pushed back and say, can't we do something to, like put a berm around that building and wouldn't that be a lot cheaper? And they gave that a good look and then came back with some realistic feedback on, well, that would be really problematic in the following circumstances. And so the berm would actually make it harder for staff to do its job in an emergency in some respects. So I think having the infrastructure high and dry is that way we don't have to worry about that one big rogue wave or something during a king tide while we're flooding. And that sounds a little crazy, but those things do add up. They do align. All right. Midcoast Community Council, anyone with a report?
Right here.
Okay, let's move on. CSDA and LAFCO.
CSDA, we had called a local meeting, but due to some computer problems, it has to be rescheduled. And, the CSDA meeting in Sacramento is next week. The, I will say that the, CSDA has been working on its new strategic plan and revised every couple of years. And so we're working on moving forward now with some new ideas, and the major point is to make alliances among the watchdog groups. Because CSDA offers SDRMA, it's the support of SDRMA, which is insurance, and we've got a bond or a savings bond kind of thing. We've got, and it has been expanding in what it does, all the while keeping the core intent of uniting special districts so that we don't see ourselves as the lone outlier, which in this county, it's not such a problem, but like in some counties, well, there's two things. One is in LA County, some of the electeds in the legislature don't even know what a special district is. So they're kind of outlier. Those special districts have issues, and then in the more rural communities, they really are outliers and a lot in distance, and so trying to get us all united and recognizing our common issues. And then the real work in the last 20 years that since I've been attending CSDA is trying to get the legislature to understand we provide valuable services, and we are either taxpayer funded or enterprise funded, and the legislature now just thinks nothing of raising the cost to special districts. And I think one of the things we should start doing is when people start complaining about taxes and fees, we should be sending them to our legislators, both at the county and in Sacramento, because they're the ones who are doing most of the much of the increased costs for special districts. And it's all well and good until we have to pass it down to the families on fixed incomes, or or relatively fixed incomes, or the families who are struggling with kids and house payments and jobs and all the other complications of modern life. So that's what it does, and the whole group is very interested in it. And as far as LAFCO, there's a meeting on November 19th. I went to the Cal LAFCO conference in San Diego a couple weeks ago. CSDA was there too, that was nice, and the SDLF, which is the Special District Leadership Foundation, was there. That has all these great classes for everyone. And so they appointed, the LAFCO locally appointed a new public member and worked on some ongoing concerns, which are all off coast.
Thank you. Attorney's report?
No attorney's report this evening.
Okay, any director's reports? I see Sid.
Hi, I did go to several board of supervisors meetings. As you probably know, they took the sheriff out of service, and they've also had today a interview of I think 7 candidates for the new sheriff, and they whittled it down to 3, and there's going to be another meeting to interview live 3 of them, the whittled down group. Also, last week on Tuesday, they 2 weeks ago they had awarded Mid-Penn Housing 3.5 million, actually almost $4 million for gap loan. And then followed that with a I guess they decided to make Carlos Street no parking because the fire marshal would not allow any permits for Mid-Penn Cypress Point without making Carlos Street no parking because ingress and egress was too narrow on there. So the county decided to pay for $30,000 worth of no parking signs along there. It's just mind-boggling, and there's not even a sidewalk. So it's gonna take people 12 minutes to walk down to the corner store in Moss Beach, but they don't put in sidewalks, so they'll put in no parking. Anyway, that's it for the fire board. I would like to say that way back in January, when we divvied up all who's gonna go to what meetings, Catherine insisted on having the Mid-Coast Community Council be hers. But she hasn't been going, and Leah doesn't have anything. I wondered if you wanted to attend the Mid-Coast Community Council and give the director's report for that. It's on Wednesdays.
Let me just mention this, not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, but I know she doesn't have anything, so if she wanted to do it.
And Sid. I won't say anything.
Okay, it's not on the agenda. I just thought I'd toss her a bone. I did go to the Mid-Coast Community Council meeting at the last time, and they did have some interesting things, but coming up is the captain of the sheriff's department. And of course, we have had a lot of loud explosions on the coast since June. They haven't done any enforcement about it. So if anybody has anything else that they want to bring up, I think I mentioned the last time about Ladris, which is the AI software for evacuation that Bill was concerned about. That would be something we might want to bring up at the next MCC meeting.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be there. He's the only person on the coast side that's supposed to be test driving the Ladris software. So he's going to be at the next MCC meeting, which I think is on the second Wednesday of the month.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay,
Sure.
all right. Clemens, anything to add to your manager's report that's in the board packet?
Thanks, Scott. Nothing to add.
Oh, can I ask a
Okay.
question about the SAM report said there were 3 sewer leaks for MWSD. Were those all 3 Seal Cove? It was on their report.
So we are looking here at the general manager's report that contains the water operations report.
Water operations.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
There are leaks that are reported, like there was a pressure reducing valve at 6th and Fairlawn. That's the kind of
No,
stuff
it
that's,
wasn't water.
I'm sorry.
We backed up. It was on sewer.
I'm sorry, I was in the middle of saying something.
I'm so sorry.
So there is a good bit of information in there. I don't know if you had the chance to scan through that, but
I did.
so you're looking for sewer leaks.
Actually, I should have asked during the SAM report because I saw it on the SAM meeting. And it was it was listed under the general manager's report, and it said there were 3 sewer leaks for MWSD. And nobody else had a sewer leak. That's okay.
That would have been a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, we are at the end of our agenda. And we do not have a closed session this evening. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending, participating, giving of your time and your thoughts and heart into this. Appreciate it. And with that, hearing no objections, we will adjourn.
Nice.